So my chickens have done a really great job at composting that down. I'm actually going to take all that this time and I'm putting it straight in my garden beds. I'm just going to see how it does. Okay guys, I was up at a feed store and I was talking to an old school farmer. This man was 79 years old and had been gardening for the last 46 years, I think he said, of his life, and farming. And I was just asking some good questions, you know, useful resources again, free information, use it, use it, use it. Anyway, he had said as long as the stuff in the chicken run, in the chicken area, was broken down, and he said like a powder. So if you look at this, I have hardly any big chunks, and he said as long as it's broke down like that, that it is safe to go ahead and sprinkle around your flower beds. You guys, I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to trust in his advice. I'm going to tell you right now that anybody, hey, you can see my shadow, anybody that has given me advice that is older like that, every single tip they have given me has worked. So I'm going to trust in the wisdom of that. And let's see if I do not end up with some of the best harvest that this city girl has ever seen in her garden. Let's continue to do this. I'm also just sprinkling where I have plants. I'm not really focusing on where I don't. So any people that garden in the city that struggle with these vines, I have yet to discover what they are, but they're so invasive and they will grow this tall in one day. I don't know what they are. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know if they're useful or good for anything. I know they go mad crazy along our fence line. We're constantly battling these. I always tell my kids, work smarter, not harder. Wild weed is medicinal. I'll tell you about it. I'm working on a video about the different garden herbs that you can have in your garden that you've probably already got, honest to goodness, in your pantry. You guys see all these garden centers and a lot of these YouTubers that have these full-fledged watering systems where they weave stuff in and out. My husband saw another video where a guy took, I don't know, for a long time there was these videos about these taking PVC pipes and creating water sprinklers for kids. I thought after my husband told me he watched a YouTube, that's what I thought about, sorry, when my husband was telling me he watched a YouTube video where a guy created a track, and so for this garden bed, in between these two trellises, you'd create like this square brace and put one on top, coming across, and then another one down here, and he drilled the holes in such a way that the water came out like this. So there was two on the side and one in the center, and then it got his square footage, and he breaks it down like how he did it. And then he didn't have to drag a hose all over, which is normally what I have to do. If I do not see rain in my forecast for a week, my gardens get watered for about 20 minutes every morning. That's just something that I do. I am in the process of getting rain barrels on every corner of my property so that I have backup water, but if the rain doesn't stop, if the rain doesn't come, then I don't have water in my rain barrels. So I'm trying to figure out provision step 2. 2.0, provision 2.0. Okay, I think I've got it spread. I did not put this stuff down everywhere. Down my fence line where I have peppers growing, I'm not going to do it. Let's just see how this test does. And see if it makes a difference. My peppers over here in the corner seem to be really happy with the fertilizer that I've done here. And these honestly seem beautiful and happy. I just figured I'm cleaning out the chicken coop. Why not try his experiment and see if it works? Even if I wouldn't have learned that tip, it would have gone in my compost and eventually made it out here anyway. So, excuse my sweat. I am going... Funny story. I was doing this, spreading this chicken compost manure stuff from the chicken coop. Out in the chicken coop, my husband started weed whacking at the same time, and it flew a bunch of the chicken coop dust in my right eye. So we are going to cross our fingers, pray for me, I do not get pink eye. No! You guys want to see wanted to show my grandson. Hey, boys. Got flowers in the potato beds. Good sign, doing good, loving it. Can't you guys just take a moment and just breathe in all this life that is my garden? Oh, I wanted to show you guys something. Speaking of my garden. Okay. Look at this pepper plant. This is a banana pepper. Sorry. Look at that. That was bought from a box store because I forgot to seed start one. I'm a little upset by it. I am going to come out here and I'm going to trim off all of that brown stuff, actually. Matter of fact, let me do it while you're watching. I am using these big loppers because my other little ones are on the outside of this chicken fencing. But I am going to go ahead and take these off. There's other new growth growing. You can prune peppers. I am just not happy about that at all. So you see it looks pretty pitiful right now, but I've gotten rid of anything that looks like a diseased leaf, except for maybe one or two. I see another one, actually. Okay, it looks pretty sad. Okay, it looks pretty sad. I have taken off as much of the disease leaves as I can, but from the bottom of the stalk all the way to the top, I don't know if it's because of what I planted with it when I put it in the ground, but it is getting new shoots, so I'm going to let it go. But I want to show you by comparison. That was one I actually bought at the big box store the other day, just because I forgot to get a banana pepper, compared to mine. Hang on. These are mine, and I want you to pay special attention to the fact that I had issues with these. I had issues with these from the jump. When I first brought them out here, they had major transplant shock. They were nitrogen deficient, and all I put in here, if you remember, was the coconut milk that I made. I did a video on that, and I put down some blood meal, and then I just cleaned it up, kept it cleaned up, and mulched it real good. So if you look at that by comparison to the one that I bought at the box store, huge difference. Same with over here. This entire row is all the ones we seed started. These little ones down here, those are habanadas. Those are a no-heat habanero. I am extremely excited. I have tried 2 years in a row to seed start those and never had any luck. I just didn't have enough, lack of better words, not enough solid commitment to watching the peppers like I did this year. This year, I have babied all of these seedlings to get them ready. And I literally would come out here and talk to them and tell them to grow, but if you remember right, these were also part of the ones that came from my leaf-only compost, and I had thought I had messed up my whole garden. But look, you guys, let's just do a big paint span. This garden started with nothing but leaf compost, and I transplanted all of my seedlings and nothing but leaf compost. Discovered after the seedlings had sat in here for about 2 weeks that they were looking kind of sad, and I had to fix it. So we amended it, if you remember, and I put in a couple of bags of the cow manure because my understanding of chicken manure at the time was that you don't put that directly in here, or otherwise I would have just cleaned out my chicken coop like I just did. And then I added some topsoil and I mixed it in by hand. So I gently went around each plant and put that stuff in there, and then would mix it with the leaf compost. And this is it. Look at it. I mean, it's gorgeous. I don't know. What do you think? You think I got a green thumb? My nephew had asked me, actually. Let's go up on the porch.